Welcome to TriStar Digging. Appreciate you joining us today. This is day 2 of this clearing job here. Got a lot of work done yesterday. Got this whole corner area come out, and still got some more to go back that way and some more to go back this way. Yesterday I spent most of the day clearing. Today I'm going to spend a good part of the day getting rid of all this burn material. We'll walk in there in just a minute and take a look at what I've got to burn. But we got all the ingredients for a good brush fire. We've got some mixture of burn oil and diesel fuel, a rosebud, propane rosebud, a backpack blower, and a chainsaw. Kind of tune that up a little bit so it'll cut better. And let's take a look around. I got the excavator warming up, and we got a brush pile here. We got a pretty good sized brush pile right here. And then when we get back in here a little bit farther, you'll see how much we've cleared and the other pile we're going to burn. I already called this morning and got a burn permit from the state, and we're good to go with that. They said there might be a little bit of wind later this evening for some rain coming in. But and there's another pile of those trees. My plan is to get these 2 little hardwoods out of the way, and I'm gonna start my fire right in that area there so I can feed it from here and feed it from here and get most of that old pine burn up. And then we can start clearing some more. So let's get this machine greased, get that chainsaw sharp, and let's get to work. Spend a few minutes there getting some logs cut up. That way we can put some weight on top of that fire and get it really going good. To get a good fire started, add some logs for weight to push that down, and then add brush on top of that, and it really gets that fire kindled up and going pretty good. Got a good brush fire going now. We will let this kind of get hot before I put any more on. I want to get some good coals down there in the bottom. And then when I get them good coals established, I can start putting some bigger logs on it and some more brush and let that burn down and get a good fire going. So we got a lot of material here to burn, and it just takes a few minutes to get a fire going, but once you get it going good, that stuff burns pretty quick. I'm gonna mess around here a little bit, cut up some logs, and get some stuff ready to start piling on there. So we'll be back in just a minute, make this fire a little bit bigger. Progress. That drone shot puts it in perspective, the mess that I've got here and the fire I've got going too. Right now it looks like an absolute war zone. Looks like a bomb exploded in here, but slowly but surely I'm sorting out piles so that I can feed the fire going around it and cutting up a lot of these logs. And yeah, let's keep going. And the fire's good and hot now. I can feed that thing anything I want to. Stumps, it doesn't matter, it'll eat it now. tell you right now, that baby's hot. I put that brush on top there of them pine limbs. Man, the heat coming off that thing's rough. Take a look around now. This is that pile here on the left, and that big pile that was right here in the middle, that's gone now. And most of that's on the fire burning at this point. Got a lot of loose stuff here yet, obviously, to clean up. While I'm having lunch, I'll just let this burn down for a few minutes, and yeah, it's doing pretty good. Thankful the wind's not blowing today. It's got just a little small breeze, but nothing that's causing any problems. So far, so good. I'm happy with the progress we've made so far. Gonna take a little bit of lunch here, and I'll be back in a few. Just before lunch, I mentioned the wind wasn't blowing, and now then, it's picked up. I'm gonna let that burn on down a little bit more, but in the meantime, I'm gonna get this mess cleaned up. This was what we cleaned out of the old fence row when we started. So let's get this out of the way. I tell you what, we hadn't used a snapper in a while. Let's see if a snapper can clean this mess up right here. Old snapper did pretty good. Got that cleaned up nice now, and got it all piled up over there ready to burn. Unfortunately, I believe I'm gonna have to let that fire die down. That wind is really picking up now. But I do have all piled up here. I guess what I'll do now is start taking out some more trees and laying them down, piling them up, getting ready to burn. That's really unfortunate that I can't keep stacking that up and piling it up. That wind is really messing me up. Not what I wanted to deal with today was wind. But that is a good hot fire right there. Dandy. Let's get to pushing some more trees down and see if this wind dies down or picks up. And this is why it's not good for the wind to be blowing like that. I got a rogue fire down here now. Got into a piece of dried out wood here. Fortunately, the leaves are not burning that fast. But yeah, it's kind of a mess. I gotta get this stomped out. Fire's burning down good now. It's getting into those big logs I put on there this morning, and that's looking pretty good. Let's walk down here and make sure we don't have any more rogue fires. I don't see anything burning down through here, so that's a good thing. Working on a fire break now all the way around this fire, and trying to get good red dirt all the way around it. I'm going to take these limbs and pull these limbs back, get a little bit more separation between this pile here and the pile of brush I've got over here. All it would take is the wind changing directions, carry a few embers over into this area, and that'd be on fire. So I got to get that moved and get a little bit wider area right there, but that's hot. Time for an update, and I've got a lot more of the land cleared now since the wind had come up and I couldn't burn, so I just started clearing land again. So I got another big pile here ready to go for in the morning, a pile there, and that pile's pretty deep. And walk around here to the other side. So in the morning it'll go pretty quick. I've got that within reach of the excavator now. All I gotta do is get over by the fire and start reaching that and throwing it off in there. And here's the area I got cleared when I started working on it again. About where the excavator was, so now I've got all the way down to that corner of that big leaning tree that we talked about in the first video. So that's a line going up through there, and it's probably another 20 yards or so back in there. Then I'll square it off. Can run back through there. This is what we got left of the fire, just those big logs that I put on there this morning. They're still burning good, and I've got a good fire ring now all the way around the burn pile now. It's just some good red dirt to where it won't creep out and get into this over here. If you remember earlier, I talked about moving all of that brush, and now that's been moved and widened this path out. That ought to be fine. A neighbor come by a little while ago, and he said he'd come back before dark and check on the fire and make sure everything was all right. And that's got day 2 taken care of. I'll be back in the morning to stoke this fire up and keep on clearing this land. Appreciate you watching. Thanks. I appreciate you sticking around for the message. And day 2 of the land clearing job went well. And tomorrow we'll get a lot more done at day 3 and get a lot of this burned tomorrow and keep clearing that land. But I appreciate you sticking around for the message. And what I want to talk about is where we store our treasures, so to say. And what I'm talking about, our treasures are what we consider to be valuable in this life. And it's what we put a lot of emphasis on and what we spend a lot of time storing up, so the Bible would say. And it's also something that we spend a lot of time thinking about, the resources that we have and how we're going to do this or that. And it's basically where we're storing our treasure. And the Bible talks about that in chapter 6 of Matthew in verse 19 through 21. And it says this: "Lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust doth corrupt, or where thieves break in and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust doth corrupt, or where thieves do not break in and steal." Here's the important part that I want to talk about. Verse 21 says, "For where your treasure is, there your heart is also." You know, the Bible's not teaching us that we shouldn't work and that we shouldn't store up earnings and that we shouldn't plan for the future and prepare for our families. And matter of fact, it talks about planning our lives so even our grandchildren would benefit from our lives. But it's what it's talking about here is where our treasures are, that's where our heart will be. It's not necessarily talking about money or wealth. It could be your time. It could be your job. It could be a relationship. It's anything. It's about what you consider valuable in this life. So basically what the Bible's teaching there is that our treasure, our heart, the things that we're striving for ought to be heavenly. Knowing that one day this earth will pass away, knowing that one day all this will be gone. And so anything that we've stored up, that we're spending a lot of time consuming ourselves with, other than our relationship with God, will pass away. So if you're a believer in Jesus Christ, put your focus and your heart into the things that are pleasing to God and storing up those treasures, so to say, in heaven. If you're not a believer in Jesus Christ, this may not make much sense to you. But I hope and pray that through this message and other messages on this video that you'll begin to hear the calling of the Holy Spirit and begin to speak to your heart and draw you to a relationship with Him. And it's not about church. It's not about a religion. It's not about living by the standards or the laws of man. It's about a relationship with Jesus Christ, and that's the focus. So where are you storing your treasure?